I'm Dr. Andrea Townsend, Superintendent of the West Carrollton Schools.
And I'm Jack Haig. I'm the business manager for West Carrollton Schools.
And we're here today to talk to you about our West Carrollton Schools building project.
Our buildings have a rich history in the district. The average age of our schools is 67 years old. But our schools are missing many of the essentials a new school can offer, including upgraded electric for today's technology, air conditioning, only 2 of our 7 buildings are currently fully air conditioned, modern safety and security features, ADA upgrades, more energy efficient designs, and safer traffic flow for both cars and school buses. Building design cannot begin until the bond issue is passed. The school pictures illustrate how building design can enhance a community. This is our opportunity for schools in the West Carrollton City School District to be designed to fit our community. Each school in this picture is different and represents the community in which it sits. Our staff and community will have input into the design of our new schools. As you can see from the photos, there is not just one cookie-cutter design for all state-sponsored building projects.
This is a non-air conditioned traditional style classroom in our current high school. In our existing classrooms, our instruction is very teacher-centered. This model is very similar to schools in the early 1900s back in the Industrial Revolution. Back then, federal funds were made available to provide skilled labor. Throughout the years, content may have changed, but the setup is similar. Students left high school and entered the workforce to support their families. The job was sustainable and predictable for a long time. A prediction in the U.S. is that by the time a student today is 40, they will have 9 different jobs, with half of those not being invented. What we are trying to do now is make learning student-centered. Teachers' work has changed over the years. So how do we, as educators, prepare students for a future world where we do not know what the future will look like? The only certainty we know is that the future we know today will be different tomorrow. And with that, our delivery of education has to change. The traditional approach of focusing on content knowledge and context doesn't work for our students who will be living in the future. We want our students to know math, science, history, and world languages, but we also want them to know how to collaborate, have relationships, have soft skills, and be able to apply skills and knowledge out of context. We are shifting from what we traditionally call broadcast teaching with paper and pencil and moving towards relevant problem and project-based learning. We are shifting to personalizing learning for each student. So if one student's needs are different from another student, they are all learning in different ways. We could have students that are in the same grade, but students are on different levels. We have been working hard to shift to a collaborative approach with teachers working together and students working together while we make real-world connections. Teachers must focus on being an effective guide and the facilitator of information. While this is a subtle shift in instruction, it's very helpful. You will see a lot of natural light and space in this new science lab. There are areas around the room for students to conduct hands-on science labs, as well as areas for learning. In one of our current elementary art rooms, you will see limited space, very little natural lighting, and limited storage. Our students' potential can be hindered due to the small space and limited resources available. One thing I can say for sure about our students is they are very creative. We need to be able to support their creativity and provide spaces that enable them to collaborate and learn more about specific content. The new art room shows plenty of natural light, student workspace, and storage. The students have the ability to work collaboratively as they are creative. As I mentioned earlier, our students will have 9 jobs by the time they are 40, with half of those jobs not existing today. Our students have the technology that works for today. As you can see in this picture, our computer lab is in the same location as our library. The room lacks natural light, and the computers are arranged in a manner that allows students to work independently. There are limited books for our students to request in this library. As you can see in the new library, there is a lot of natural light. The decor makes it very inviting for students to want to visit. There are also areas within newer libraries that teachers can use for instruction, such as student presentations or readers' theater. This is truly set up for imagination. Often newer libraries are designed for integrated or interdisciplinary learning. Our music room is very small in comparison to newer band or chorus rooms. We do have some storage in our room, and it's used for multiple music programs. As you can see, the new band room is designed with sound panels, lots of light and space. The room has a tremendous amount of storage, which will enable us to continue to grow our music program for the students. This is one of our playgrounds. As you can see, it's strictly structure. Where our students have fun at recess, wouldn't it be more fun if they could not only play but use their imaginations? There are so many more opportunities for students to play games and be creative outside. Well, this slide speaks for itself. We have to use this location for our cafeteria, our gym, and our auditorium. As you can see, we have low ceilings, limited space, and must use this area for many things. Any program changes can impact our instructional day based on need. In our new facility, our students will have a new cafeteria with a stage that can be used for concerts and other school events. There's a lot of natural lighting and space. This is also known as a multi-purpose area. The gym space is completely separate. This helps with scheduling as we do not need to stop gym in order to serve lunch.
We're here today because we've been given an opportunity to build new schools. New schools will not only enhance the quality and delivery of educational services, they can serve as a tool to boost our housing and economic growth in our community. Schools are a focal point, a point of pride for a community. While school buildings are just brick and mortar on the outside, important things happen in West Carrollton schools.
There are three types of property tax issues a school district can use to raise funds. First is an operating levy, and it's the most common. It can be used for a 3 to 5 year term or a continuing term. Operating levies fund the day-to-day expenses such as salaries and benefits, textbooks, and utilities. A permanent improvement levy, similar to operating levies, can be fixed or continuous, but districts are limited on how the funds are used. Permanent improvement funds must be spent on items that have at least 5 years of life, most commonly buses, facility repairs, and equipment. A bond issue is what we're looking at now. On November 5th, voters will have the opportunity to support Issue 11, a bond issue for the West Carrollton School District. Bond issues are similar to home mortgages. They can be used for remodeling, additions, and new construction of buildings. Bond issues are a fixed term, generally up to 37 years, depending upon the scope of the project. The West Carrollton School District bond request is for a 37-year bond to fund the community's share of replacing all of our schools.
In 2007, the West Carrollton School District received an offer to participate in the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission, the OFCC, school funding program. At that time, the district's share was 63% of the co-funded costs. In 2008, the GM truck plant closed, the housing market began to fall, and district property values began to drop. The drop in housing and property values was very hard on our community. Our school board made a wise choice and placed the district on hold with the OFCC. In 2019, the West Carrollton School District inquired again about our equity rank and found that our local co-funded percentage of 63% had dropped 44 points to a 19% local share. To rephrase that, in 2019, the state will pay 81% and the taxpayers would pay 19% of the co-funded costs for new school buildings. Is this as good as it gets? We asked our school treasurer to look into the possibility of our rate going lower. He determined that the housing market is picking up and property values are increasing. Using the state formula, he forecasts that our local share will begin to trend back up. After careful consideration, we believe that right now is the best opportunity for our community to build new school buildings. The state will pay about $94 million of our buildings. This chart showing our 3-year property valuation from the County Auditor's Office helps to illustrate the property value trend. As I said earlier, property values began falling in 2007 after a peak in 2006. This steady decline continues through 2017. That's the year the OFCC is using to determine our local percentage at 19%. You can see that the 2018 valuation is moving back up again. This is great news for all of us homeowners, but that upswing is why we need to pass a bond issue now. We need to lock in our local co-funded share at 19% before that increase hits.
There's two means of funding for building projects: co-funded and locally funded initiatives, or LFIs. These terms will be repeated often through this process. Co-funded initiatives are the things that the OFCC will pay 81% of the total cost. Co-funded items include classrooms, gymnasiums, cafeterias, playgrounds, music rooms, and most areas that a school needs to deliver instructional services to our students. Locally funded initiatives, or LFIs, are items that are not co-funded by the OFCC. There are such things as outdoor stadiums, auditoriums, sports fields, additional building space, certain building upgrades like pitch metal roofs or terrazzo flooring, rubber playground mulch, maintenance buildings, and bus garages. 100% of LFI costs are locally funded or our responsibility. Our LFI expenses include rubberized playground surfaces, interactive computer monitors in all learning areas, additional areas for labs, special education, athletics, administrative offices, and meeting areas for the staff and community.
The OFCC provides two routes for funding schools: the Expedited Local Partnership Program, or ELP, and the Classroom Facilities Assistance Program, or CFAP. The Expedited Local Partnership Program allows the district to build a portion of their project using only local funds, such as a bond issue, and locks in their local share rate for the entire project. The OFCC will then issue a credit back to the district when they enter into the CFAP program. Our school board will use the ELP to build phase 1 of our project. The Classroom Facilities Assistance Program is dependent on eligibility and timing. Our place in the CFAP line is approximately 3 to 6 years out. The longer you wait, the more your local share can fluctuate. So why now? If we waited until West Carrollton School District is approved for full funding in CFAP, it could be 2023 or later. Our local percentage will likely rise. For every 1% increase in our local share, that equates to an extra $1.2 million that our residents have to pay. Our local percentage dropped 44 points in 12 years. The increase could be that dramatic also. Building 2 buildings now under the ELP will allow us to build half of our buildings in today's dollars. Construction costs and inflation continue to increase, driving up the cost to our taxpayers. The timing will allow us to complete phase 1 and be ready to move directly into phase 2.
The district formed a facilities steering committee 2 years ago to evaluate the current schools, compare the data to the OFCC master plan, and put together a plan that would be cost effective while providing the needed services for our students and our community. The steering committee combed through the OFCC master plan and identified the best educational delivery model for our students. The committee recommended reducing our current 7 or 6 buildings to 4 buildings, with a grade configuration of pre-K 1, 2-4, 5-6, and a 7-12 campus. This setup allows for maximum grade level collaboration among staff while maintaining services for our students. We can use our current sites at the ECC, middle school, Schnell, and high school. There are many curricular and learning benefits to grade level buildings. There is a greater opportunity for staff collaboration and articulation. Teachers have the opportunity to plan for the needs of all students in a specific grade and create the opportunity for more flexible grouping. There is also a greater opportunity to plan vertically. Student achievement has been shown to rise when teachers discuss student achievement and differentiate among various proficiency levels. Our administration is growing into strong instructional leaders. When schools are in grade bands, the administration has the opportunity to become a more focused expert in instructional programming within their buildings. We believe this model will decrease the difficult transition from elementary school to middle school and then middle school to high school. This model enables students to engage with their peers throughout their entire school career. Our 712 campus will really be 2 buildings in one location. This enables some shared spaces that are centrally located. Students who are taking high school coursework at the middle school will be able to attend courses more easily, as there will be no loss of instruction time due to teacher traveling between buildings.
The state is agreeing to fund $94 million for new buildings in West Carrollton School District. Building Now locks in our local share at 19%. This is a great opportunity for not only our students, but our community. The decision we make this year will benefit generations of future pirates. So what is the cost to our community? We're asking for 5.6 mils, which equals about $16.33 per month for a $100,000 home in Moraine, West Carrollton, and Miami Township, or about $12.25 a month for those that are eligible for the homestead exemption. It also equals out to about 54 cents a day. So what is 54 cents a day? Well, it's about an hour at a parking meter, or about 2 packs of ramen noodles at the grocery. It's a drink from a local lemonade stand from one of our students, or about the cost of a postage stamp. Or it could be 54 rides on Sandy, the electric pony at Meyer.
There are several community benefits for West Carrollton, Miami Township, and the city of Moraine. It will increase our property values, and it will increase community pride. Currently, there's revitalization of the entire area in businesses and houses. There's additional space for civic and youth organizations, senior citizens, community groups, and youth sports. There's several benefits to parents, students, and staff. We'll have air-conditioned buildings. Right now, only 2 of our 7 current buildings are fully air-conditioned. There will be improved safety and security. All offices will be situated at the front doors of buildings. Once school is in session, all visitors must be buzzed into the office to enter into a school. We'll have enhanced video surveillance inside and outside of the facilities, fire suppression systems in all buildings, improved lockdown features, areas that are clearly marked for visitors and event entrances, improved traffic flow, where we will have holding areas on school grounds for car traffic at pickup and dismissal, improved visitor and staff parking. We'll have a safer student pickup and drop off. All students will be picked up and dropped off in areas that will be on the school grounds. There will not be any more curbside car areas or walking across the driveway. Separate entrances and exit areas for our buses and cars. We'll have enhanced learning environments with natural light in all rooms, dimmable LED lighting, sunshades, and built-in storage, modular learning environments for project-based learning, labs, and makerspace areas.
The site plans are used as a placeholder to determine if a new building with parking, drives, and playfields will fit into our existing property. Once the bond issue passes and the design phase begins, then the actual building and layout will begin to take shape. In phase 1, we'll build a new pre-K and first grade school. We have enough land to build the new school without displacing our ECC students. The old ECC will be removed and the location will become our new parking area. Also in phase 1, we'll be building a new 5th and 6th grade school at CF Holiday. The same is true for our CF Holiday site. We'll maintain classes at CF Holiday while constructing the new 5th and 6th grade school. Once phase 2 begins, the 2nd through 4th grade school will be attached to the pre-K through 1st grade building. We'll utilize the kitchen in the pre-K through 1st grade building to cook meals for both schools, but both schools will have their own separate cafeterias and serving lines. Also in phase 2, we'll build the new 7th through 12th grade campus. It'll be 2 separate schools in one building. The 7th and 8th grade will be in a separate wing from the high school. Each school will have their own cafeteria, gym, offices, entrances, classroom areas, and stairways. The building will share utilities, a kitchen, and fine art space.
We have a bond committee made up of community leaders, parents, and school alumni who are diligently working towards passage of the November 5th bond issue. Once the bond issue passes, the design process will begin. We have a committee in place to interview and select our architect and engineer to begin designing Phase 1 buildings. This step will include staff and community meetings to allow input into the design phase. Our goal is to break ground in the fall of 2020 on the new Pre-K1 Early Childhood Center and the 5-6 intermediate buildings. The Phase 1 plan will conclude with a fall 2022 grand opening of the new buildings. By the completion of Phase 1, the OFCC should have a timeline in place for Phase 2. So our 3 takeaways for today are new schools with the community paying only 19% of the co-funded amount. The state will pay $94 million towards new buildings. The time is now. We need to pass the bond issue on November 5th, 2019. The Build a Better Tomorrow sign, the logo at the top of our pages, is proudly displayed throughout our community by residents and businesses, supporting not only current generations of students, but students that will lead our communities into the 22nd century. We are asking for your support to build a better tomorrow. If you have any questions, please email us at wcbuildings@wcsd.k12.oh.us.